Jordan from Team J's Classroom Fun, and today on YouTube I'm going to be talking a little bit about some addition math strategies. Make sure you go ahead and follow my page, like this video, click the bell so you don't miss out on any future content. Today we're going to be talking about addition strategies. Now before we get into this, I am going to share just a quick little story. When I was a kid, just like probably many of you, there was one way to get the answer, and it was the way the teacher did it. And you know what? Here's the thing. As a kid, could I solve the problems? Yes. Did I get the correct answer because I could follow all the steps my teacher told me to? Yes. Did I probably really have a good solid understanding, conceptual understanding of what I was doing? Probably not. It wasn't until honestly when I was in college and I was in a math class and they were teaching us how to teach math. And the teacher was like, okay, division, here's what you do. You do this, this is what you're doing. You're dividing them into equal groups. And I was like, oh, that's how that works. Which is kind of embarrassing to say that I had to be in college to understand how division worked. I passed 4th grade when we did division. I got A's on my tests. I followed the steps the teacher said. Did I really understand why it worked? No. So that's where these strategies come into play. One of the things I love about teaching now, and I know sometimes this can be hard for parents because they want one way to do it, and that's, again, how a lot of us learned. With this, it's providing students multiple strategies, multiple ways to get to the same answer. What's great about this is one size does not fit all. Okay, as we know, students are all at various levels in their learning. Some need more conceptual, some need manipulatives. Some are ready for the algorithm. Some are ready for breaking numbers apart and using the numbers flexibly in different ways. So being able to offer the opportunity for them to use a variety of strategies is great. And it's honestly going to help build their conceptual understanding, their math skills, and they're going to be able to solve all kinds of different problems. The other nice thing about this too is sometimes I've had where students are trying to solve a problem one way and one strategy is not working. Well, you know other strategies. Try something else and see if that helps you get to the answer. So they can be helpful for many things. So today what I'm going to do is I'm going to be sharing 4 strategies with you today. We're going to go from more concrete to more, with the algorithm and things like that. So I'm going to go ahead and share with you. Stay tuned. For addition, let's say that we're going to have students work on the problem 46 plus 25. So this will be a regrouping problem. The first strategy we're going to talk about is the place value strategy. For the place value strategy, students are going to draw out base 10 blocks. So for 46, they'd have 10, 20, 30, 40, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I do try to have kids use a 10 frame to help them organize, like especially their ones, so they don't become a hot mess. Then for 25, they'd have 10, 20, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then what they would do is they would count their ones. And as they come to this, they're going to realize they have 11 ones. So they actually have enough to make a 10. So to regroup, I have students circle the 10 ones, and then they're going to draw an arrow and show the 10 that they created. The reason I do this is I want kids to see these 10 ones turned into this. Because like if kids erase or cross out or do different things, they don't fully see where that went. And then all they have to do is count. So we have 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 71, and they get to the answer of 71. The next strategy that I want to show you is empty number lines. So we're going to again look at the same problem, 46 plus 25. For empty number line, they literally are starting with an empty number line. When we do an empty number line type problem, it is wise to start with a larger number, just like when you're counting up, because it's going to be less work. So in this case, the students would start with 46, and they're eventually going to jump 25. Now there's a few ways they could jump 25. They could go 10, 10, they could jump 20, and as obviously you get to larger numbers, there's different ways you can break that up. So I'm going to go ahead and go 10 and 10. So if we go plus 10, 46 plus 10 would get them to 56. Then they'd have another 10, 56 plus 10 would get them to 66. And then they're going to add 5 more. Now, some students might say, okay, I'm going to add 4, which gets me to 70, because I know that's a friendly number. And then 1 more would get me to 71. Some students might jump the whole 5, and some students might need to go 67, 68, and like jump 1 at a time. But that's how empty number line strategy would work. And as they can see, they would have ended up with the same answer. The next strategy that we're going to talk about is called break apart. Now, there's 2 different ways we could do break apart depending on how students are, how comfortable they are with breaking numbers apart and using them flexibly. So the first one would be probably more for students that are kind of at the beginning stages of this. They would break 46 into 40 and 6, and they would break 25 into 20 and 5. And then for break apart, they're going to add their 10s. So they'd have 40 plus 20, which would get them to 60. And we want to make sure they're not saying 4 and 2 because it's not really 4 and 2. And then they'd have their 6 ones plus their 5 ones, which would get them to 11. And then they could either do 60 plus 10 is 70, or if they're okay with it, they could go 60 plus 11 would get them to 71. So that's one way to do break apart. Another way to do break apart that students maybe who are feeling more comfortable with numbers might be able to do, they're going to have their 46 plus 25. They're going to leave their largest number together. Just like with empty number line, leaving that bigger number together, you have less to add. And then they would actually break apart the 20 and the 5. Since they're leaving that first number together, they're going to go 46 and they're going to add 20 more. So 46 plus 20 would get them to 66. And then they're going to take that 66 and they're going to add their ones. So 66 plus 5 would be at 71. So this again is for students that are able to think of numbers in flexible ways and break them apart. At one of the schools I was at, expanded form was a really big deal. And one of the standards that we had was that students needed to be able to add with expanded form. So the way we did this is we would stack the numbers and say, okay, we have 46 plus 25. And then what they would actually do is they would actually stretch out the numbers. This is very similar to break apart, like it is break apart. It's just a different way of writing it. So 46 would expand to 40 plus 6. And then 25 would expand to 20 plus 5. And again, I know this looks exactly like break apart. I know. So they have 6 plus 5 and they get 11. But here's the thing. This is for the ones. So for the 11, they're going to leave the 1 behind and they're going to regroup and move over the 10. So here's where the 11 came from. Then they have 10 and 40, which is going to be 50. 50 and 20 is going to be 70. They bring down their plus sign, and when you put the 70 and the 1 together, you end up with 71. So this is a very similar strategy to break apart. It is a little bit different, but it's also great for your kids that are trying to just like carry the 1 in like the old way we used to do it, because they can actually see like, oh, I'm regrouping the 10, and they can actually see the numbers as opposed to just like single digits. So that is the expanded form strategy.